I need to bring you over to my house so you can decorate it.
And I'll do that. Greetings, everybody. I love it. Thank you so much. Sister Rochelle has introduced us. We are here live at Harambee Market. And I've just been hired to decorate her pad. I accept. It is Thursday evening, 8 p.m.-ish. And greetings to everyone. Come on in, and we welcome you. Music of Bobby Humphrey in the background. She's a home girl. She's a Texan, so I want to shout her out. And I do not have the rights to that song. Peace, peace. Hey, greetings, everybody. I see you guys are just lighting up my page. I love it. Love it and then liking it up. I think I'm speaking pretty clear, so I'm not going to even ask y'all. I'm not going to even check in on the clarity because I know this works pretty well by now. I am sitting amongst some sisters that I am going to be speaking with momentarily in regards to the work that they are doing under the Nation of Islam. These are women of the Nation of Islam, MGT sisters. We're going to speak to them momentarily, but first, I want to share with you a few things, some good news, some better news, and some good news. I want to thank a few people. So lay back, chill, relax, and listen in live Harambee Radio. All right, greetings everybody. Again, I see you guys who are listening in. Thank you for the likes and the love and the hearts. We do appreciate you. This is Sister Melanie, and I am sitting in Harambee Market, 2104 North Main in North Little Rock. You know it well. If you don't, tell somebody or ask somebody about it, and they'll tell you about it. Harambee is Swahili for pulled together. We've been here going on 3 years this summer, and I'm so very grateful and thankful for that time. So I've decided to expand the brand with a radio show, audio live radio show. So you're listening in with me this evening. This program will also be downloaded to the YouTube page. So it is archived. You can take it with you wherever you want to go. You can share it out. And if you want to be a sponsor for the show in the near future, just let me know. Speaking of sponsors, we do have a sponsor for this show. And guess who it is? It's me. I am a new body product distributor. So the sponsorship is new body product sponsorship. We are home of the CKLS, cleanse out the colon, kidney, liver, and spleen. Give me a thumbs up or give me something if you're familiar with this particular product. I got a thumbs up from Sister Rochelle. I got a thumbs up from Sister Khashimah. It is the truth. I have been a distributor since 1993, so you can do the math. It works like none other. So new body products are not just CKLS. There are several herbal solutions and also some single herbs and other things that we promote and we sell. I have access to them. I do keep CKLS now currently at the market, along with the olive oil and some other herbs for blood pressure, hypertension, whatever the case may be. But the CKLS is one of the most popular ones to get started with. So if you want to seasonally cleanse, if you're coming, as we're coming out of the winter, going into the spring, then talk with me. We can do just a mini consultation. I can share with you, and even those who have experienced New Body CKLS, they can share with you as well. Just to let you know, New Body is by Dr. Paul Goss, who is a world-renowned iridologist, herbalist, and activist. I believe he's out of the Carolinas, but he also spends some time in Ghana as well, where his daughter is living there. And so this particular product is not just local to Little Rock. It expands all the way to Ghana, West Africa, Compton, California, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, etc. So shout out to the sponsor this evening, New Body Products, CKLS. Alrighty, before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to Natasha Marie. She was on the show last. She came in to talk about her event, the Black and Pink event, last Saturday. It went very well, even though I caught it on the end. But I was able to shop with a few of the vendors. I was also able to meet with the speaker of the evening, which is Baba Amin and Nkoyo, who came in from Fort Worth, who came in to speak about African-centered schooling. They run the Uhuru Academy out of Fort Worth, Texas. I think it's an online program, as well as they have students who are actually at a physical school in Fort Worth. And so they are spreading the good news about homeschooling, not just for the sake of homeschooling, but African-centered homeschooling. And so Sister Natasha is on fire about bringing that information to our city. So she was able to put a program together last Saturday. I know that won't be her last program. I hope she's listening. If not now, I hope she's listening in the near future. That we're going to support you, and we look for all of that getting started very soon. But everybody got to put in the pot and do the work. And she is a worker, and she's going to expect a lot of sweat, blood, sweat, and tears from us that want to participate in that particular project. So thank you so much, Natasha, for coming on with us, and thank you for putting that program together. Also, we want to shout out the vegan workshop that was, 2 Saturdays ago? Did a vegan workshop. It was the first for the new year. It's every third Saturday. Had an excellent turnout. Thank you to the sisters that came in. We talked about vegan food. We talked about detoxing, cleansing, colon cleansing. We talked about New Body and CKLS. We had a wonderful time. I will add information about that later if you're interested in signing up for the next workshop in April. I already have someone who has signed up from the last class. I want you to come out. We meet about 8:30 in the morning, from 8:30 to 11. We talk about food. We eat food. We have alkaline water. We infuse water with fruits. We just have a wonderful time. So, and we get to eat, which is always good. And then right after that is the vendors market that opens up. So just wanted to let you know what's been going on here and what's going to be going on in the future here at Harambee Market. Again, we're located at 2104 Main Street in North Little Rock. And so with all that being said, I'm sure I'll come back and share with you some other things that may have slipped my mind. But with all that being said, I do want to introduce our guest for this evening. If you see the picture that's floating above this podcast, you see me, of course, the mic, and then you see my beautiful sister, Sister Khashimah. Many of you are from. Let's get some love and likes for Sister Khashimah. Tick, tick, tick. Let me see if I can. I can't do it on my own phone, but Sister Khashimah is in the house, and another sister that you all may not be as familiar with, but I know her very well too, and that is Sister Rochelle. As a matter of fact, Sister Rochelle and Sister Khashimah set up at the first, if not mistaken, the first Harambee Market that we did, going on 3 years. Going on 3 years. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Welcome, 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 welcome. So, how do we get started?
Well, I just kind of think it's like us kind of sitting around having tea, and we're just having a friendly girlfriend talk. How about that?
I love it. I love it. Well, we are sitting around the table, and I didn't prepare tea, but I have some tea that you can take with you. I didn't prepare it hot, but I have some tea you can take with you, actually. But I definitely wanted to have you on because I actually love, respect, and in so many ways revere you women and the work that you do. Okay, the passion and the discipline. Sister Khashimah and I think if you remember, we worked together on a project, Trayvon Martin, years ago. Yes, and this was before Facebook was up, but Facebook wasn't the Facebook that we know it is today. Mm-hmm. So she and I did a lot of work just texting one another. I don't even know if we had actually met, are emailing one another, and we put together that program. Yes, and if I hit some information to her, she hits some information, and when she tells you she is going to share the information, trust and believe, it will be shared. And so I knew from day one, I had a router, I had somebody that I can call on, and so I try to make sure, and I would try to make sure, I am sure that when she calls on me, that I can step to her as she has always stepped to me, just being honest and disciplined and well presented. And so I appreciate her being my sister. And Sister Rochelle, we laugh together. Sister Rochelle stays busy. And congratulations, she finished school. Yes, you can shout it out. She finished school, and we're going to talk about that, because even though you are working and do the work that you do in NOI, you are your own persons. You have your own lives and those type of things. So I want to start off with a quote, and no telling where this may go, but as I did my research, the one quote that kept coming up was, "A nation can rise no higher than its woman." Are you all familiar with that at all?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Tell me about how you're familiar with that. Sure. Anyone?
Can you start?
Well, we're very familiar with that. As a matter of fact, that is a quote by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Nation of Islam. One thing that the Minister Farrakhan has taught us about any person that's a so-called leader or a so-called teacher, if they don't uplift the woman, then it's a movement in vain. Because that movement will not continue. If the woman is not uplifted, if the woman is not taught, if the woman is not raised, then that's something that won't continue. And so a nation is judged by its woman. It's not judged by the man, it's not judged by the child. The nation is judged by the condition of the woman. And so that's why you always see in other countries, you see them. You see the woman being looked at. If that woman is looked at as low class, then that nation is looked at as low class. If that woman is respectable, then that nation is respectable. And whenever a conquer comes into a nation, when they conquer, the reward or the prize, or what they call booty, B-O-O-T-Y, is always the woman. And so whatever nation, whatever culture protects this woman and also elevates this woman, you have respect for that culture. And so it's the same with the Nation of Islam. And that's one thing that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad recognized, and he wanted us to recognize about ourselves, because as black women, we have been so degraded. Our community had been so just rampaged by our, the slave master's children. So because of that, the value of the black woman was so degraded. So that's one thing that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did. He elevated and placed the black woman on a pedestal so that we could understand what value is, and start to begin to understand what our value is, because we haven't fully, got there yet.
I agree.
We're growing to understand the value of the black woman.
And the value is not what you see on television. The value is not what you hear on the radio. The value really comes from an internal understanding of self, but it's hard to get inside if you're so busy looking on the outside.
Right. It's that divinity, it's the connection with Allah God. One of the other things that you'll hear a lot, and if you've done some research, a lot of the times you'll hear respect and protect the black woman. I had never heard that before until I came into the Nation of Islam. 75% of the work is with the woman. And so a lot of times you'll hear those things, and we have to be very careful, at least I do, about making sure they're just not cliche. Respect and protect the black woman means I got my sisters back. It starts with me. It means respecting and protecting myself, my mind, body, and spirit, but also extending it out to the rest of my sisters, my daughters, my mothers, because sometimes we don't understand when we disrespect ourselves or how we kind of leave ourselves open and vulnerable to things. 75% of the work is with the woman. I think it tells you how important the woman is in civilization and in society. The woman is the first teacher, the first nurturer. And in a lot of respects, she represents God to her child. If that child has any type of need, it doesn't know how to say Allah. It doesn't know how to say God. It doesn't know how to say Yahweh. It doesn't know how to say Jesus. It says mama.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever it needs. If it's in the dark, if it's scared, if it's cold, if it's hungry, who does it call?
Mama.
Mama.
Yes.
That's the first thing
It's
it
so
calls.
interesting you said that, because as little kids,
Yes.
when you trip or fall, or when you do something and you think you're about to lose your life, mama,
Mama.
it's like that's going to resonate and save you. Like, oh my God, mama.
Right.
I hadn't thought of that either,
Yeah.
Sister
And
Rochelle.
so-
That's profound.
Mom has to make sure that she introduces that person to the God.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, she stands in that place, but she makes that introduction to the God, and slowly and gently pushes that person into the realm of knowing who to pray to, how to pray, and how to get results from those prayers and what you're doing.
Well, let me ask you this, because you did mention that you learned about that quote when you became a member. And one of my questions was going to be, or is, were you all born into the nation, or you all came into it later in life?
Okay, so I have a really interesting
Okay.
story about the Nation of Islam. I hope I don't take too long. So I've known my husband since, our families have known each other since we were babies. I've known my husband, like really known him since I was 16 years old. And so we got married, how old was I, 20 something. And so moved to, we both grew up, went to high school together, high school sweethearts, that whole 9 yards. So got married, moved to Dallas. That's where he was at the time. And so we hadn't been married, I know, a year. And he just came home one day and said he was a Muslim. I was like, what? Okay. Just made this announcement that he was a Muslim. I'm like, what? I have known
When did this
you
happen?
for 16, since I was 16. I was 16, I guess he was about 18. And you have never in your life mentioned Muslim Islam to me ever. And so, I was deep in the church. I was a Sunday school teacher. I was on the usher board. I was like, okay, Lord, okay. And so time went on. I had a really, really good pastor in Dallas. His last name was Horn. I can't remember his first name. Golden Chain Baptist Church. So if anybody from Dallas.
Shout out Golden Chain Baptist Church.
But he was, and I think he really prepared me to come into the nation, because he did things that were a little bit unorthodox in the Baptist church. They didn't celebrate Christmas. There was no Christmas trees. There was no lights, none of that. They didn't do no Easter egg hunts. They didn't do none of that stuff. And so he really prepared me. So it took me a while, from the time my husband told me he was a Muslim to the time I joined the Nation of Islam. It was 8 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay, so he was
years.
an active member.
Yes, he was an active member of the Nation of
Was
Islam.
he trying to pull you along? Obviously, for 8
I always
years.
say he was trying to kick me out. He was not doing it, as far as I was concerned, anything to make it seem appealing. But what did happen is that the sisters took me under their wing.
Okay.
And so there was a sister, Sharon, may Allah be pleased with her. She passed away about a year or so ago. And there were other sisters, Sister Carolyn and Sister Carol. They all just pretty much took me under their wing. And they just kind of took care of me. They always invited me out to any events that were going on.
And I take it there was never any shunning on you, because you were a Christian, and it wasn't ever, you shouldn't be a Christian, or you should be this way, or you should be that way, because that could have run you, away from it.
And I will say it was the way they treated me and how they embraced me that really made me want to come into this. I was like, I got to get in there. I got to see what they're doing in that class.
And speaking of that class, Sister Khashimah, what about you? Were you born into the nation, or did you come into it later in life, or join it later in life?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, my mother joined the Nation of Islam in 1969 when Muhammad Ali came to Little Rock. He spoke at Philander Smith College in 1969. He was on. He was doing a tour, I guess you could say, speaking in different areas of the country. He had his title taken from him, And so he was going on speaking engagements, came to Philander Smith College. My grandmother, all my aunts, most of my aunts.
So you weren't
got
born
a chance
then,
to
were you?
hear. Well, yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
My father and mother met in Denver, Colorado, and they began to court, and they got married, and they had 5 children.
Okay.
So yes, ma'am, we were born in the Nation of Islam.
But when she met him, you were born at that time. So you said 1969. I know I was 3 years old. Were you here?
No,
Were you,
I wasn't
okay.
here.
So,
I'm a little,
okay.
little younger than that.
So I was actually here in Little Rock. I think that may have been my last year here because I think I moved in 69 or early 7. I was 3 years old when I moved. You were 3 years old too? All right, Sister Rochelle.
My parents actually got married in 71, I think. 71
Okay.
or 72.
And so when he came to visit, he spoke at Philander. And was your mother background Christian, Baptist, Methodist?
Yes, ma'am. My grandfather was holiness, and my in the Episcopal holiness. Holiness.
Okay.
And so my grandmother also, they all attended the same church. But one thing about my great grandmother, it's interesting because she was searching from church to church trying to find something. And every time they would go to a church, she would say, well, this isn't it. This isn't it.
Right.
And when my grandmother heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, she said, this is what my mother was looking for.
Wow.
And so she accepted right away. They even got a chance to ride in the limo with Muhammad Ali up to Fayetteville because they met him. They said they accepted the teachings, and he was like, this never happens. Usually there's a riot or something, and then some traumatic event or something where people see, oh, the nation is your protection, and they run to the nation. But for them to just accept, he invited them to come with him to Fayetteville to hear him in his next speaking engagement. And so they got a chance to talk to him. He recited the poem that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had written, A White Man's Heaven is a Black Man's Hell. Now, it's a song, and it is a beautiful, I invite everyone to go and buy that album, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's album. That song is on it, and it is life-changing. It's a beautiful history. And he recited it to them, and he said that he was going to go back to Chicago and tell the Honorable Elijah Muhammad about my
and
family.
I'm sure he did.
Yes, well, listen. They read the next Muhammad Speaks, and they said he's talking about us. I don't know exactly what was in there, but
That's
evidently
powerful, sis.
it made them think that whatever he said. Oh, one of the things he said in that article, he said most of the time, those who have joined the nation has come from tragic or traumatic or
backgrounds,
big events, but some join because they just automatically become believers, and so they say, oh, he's talking about us.
Awesome. And that's kind of different to hear someone come from a holiness background, a strong Christian background, but what she felt that day was real. And then Muhammad Ali, I mean, come on, that brother there was very dynamic,
Yes,
very serious about. I have an interesting story too, and maybe I've told you all this, and I'll say it because when I went to Chicago years ago, I had a good time in Chicago. Let's just say that. And I told my friends, I don't care what we do, you all taking me to Mosque Marion that Sunday morning. I have got to be in the presence. They wanted to take me to the east side and the west side, and we did all of that. I do not think we slept that night. I think we just drove up onto Mosque Marion, and they said, get out. And with no cell phones at the time, I don't think we were doing cell phones then. I guess they said, we'll be back in a couple hours or whatever. And I got into that beautiful space. I've always loved the search, the women to one side, the men, just the ritual, just the beauty of that and being in that space. And I really thought I was going to stand up and join, but I felt like not after being out all night. Maybe I should kind of wait. That was the time. I said, because my girlfriends are not going to understand. Maybe like when your husband came back and said, I'm a Muslim now. So we drop you off. We've been out all night having a good time, and you come back a Muslim.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, but it was, it was beautiful. And I always, as you all know, I pop up any given Sunday, and just to be in the midst of it. And regardless if you're a Muslim, Christian, or whatever, go to a mosque, especially if you're in Houston, Texas. You got Brother Robert Muhammad.
Abdul Halim.
I know, Dr. Abdul Halim. I couldn't pronounce the new name, but we know who Brother Robert Muhammad is. Go to a mosque, and as we say, get your life. Get your life and get your energy, and it doesn't mean you have to join. As you said, you weren't pressured to do anything. Just to be amongst those who have your back. I always look at Nation of Islam as front line, period. I'm always kind of taken aback why I don't see a lot of the community leaders calling on you all here to do more work from day one. Harambee Market, I need NOI, I need Sister Khashimah, I need Sister Rochelle. So it would be nice to see more of the community, no matter what your background is. Call on the nation. They are the front line for protection and so many other things. But we did talk about that about a month ago when I had Brother Kurt on. But as it pertains to the sisters, I want to clear my thoughts and hone it in to the women of MGT. And I don't know if anyone is familiar with that, but MGT stands for
Muslim Girls in Training.
So you all are considered MGT at all facets of being a Muslim. And see, that's one thing I probably would not have known if I would have joined, because I did not know what it entailed. It just, at that moment, it just felt right. But there is some training that goes along with that.
Yes, ma'am. So Muslim Girls Training in General Civilization class. And so that was the name given to the training of women and girls in North America. How to keep house, how to rear our children, how to take care of our husbands, sew, cook, and in general, how to act at home and abroad. Those are 7 units, and we really delve into those units. And we, and the one thing I always remind women of is that your home is not your place, but your home is your base. This is where everything stems from. You go out in that world and they beat you up, and they beat your husband up and your children up, and everybody come back home. And you have to make sure that you have a place where you can decompress, where you can talk about the events of the day, sort them out, and come up with a strategy on what you're going to do next. Or what's our next objective? Oh, so you only made a B in the class, and she said A, B, and C. Okay, you tell her this, and you tell it came from me, or whatever the case may be. But that's what home is. I want to take a little bit from a young man that I see. His name is John Gray, and I think it was on some other talk show. I can't remember what it was, but he was talking about the woman, and he was saying how you give a man one thing, but you give it to a woman and she multiplies it. He said, you buy a woman a house, she makes it a home. Right. You buy her food, she gives you meals. And so that's what a woman does, and that's what we were divinely given to do. And we don't think of ourselves as any less than men. We think of ourselves as co-creators. We were co-creators with God. And so you always just have to keep those kinds of things in mind.
Okay. So that's training with sewing. Did I hear sewing?
Yeah, you heard sewing.
That's old school.
Yeah, it is old school.
That's old school.
It's old school, but it's new
school. That's right.
And it's even more imperative that we know how to sew today than yesterday, because of the styles that our enemy is designing for us. They're setting us, they're presenting us in a certain way. Whenever we go out into the world, we decide how we're going to present ourselves. But for us today, someone else is choosing our styles. Someone else is choosing the way that we're being presented to the world. And oftentimes, the black woman is presented as a temptress. And so if we go along with that, not realizing that that's how someone else's thinking is about us. And if you look in the history, we were always presented as the temptress. Even throughout slavery, after slavery, we were presented as a temptress. And we were the ones that were being approached. We were the ones that were being attacked, but yet we were presented as the tart. I heard Minister Farrakhan describe it as the tart, the sweet thing that you have after your meal.
Wow.
And so we were being presented this way, and we don't realize that the way that we dress is is lowering our dignity. And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us to be modest. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is teaching us to be modest. You know, whenever you go to a country and you say that this is the queen, when you say someone is a queen, you expect two things, at least two things when it comes to dress. You expect there to be a crown on her head, and you expect her to be wearing robes.
Yes. Regal.
And so regal clothing. And so whenever you have something of value, you cover it. You don't just put it out for anybody to touch and to feel and to see what they think about it. You know, that valuable item is covered, and it's the same with the woman. The woman should be draped in fine garments, fine fabrics. And so as an MGT, we're taught to sew. And we don't have to wait and see what someone else is going to style us or present us as. We can just choose the designs that we wear.
And let's talk about your outfits that I normally see you in. Of course, your head is always covered, I guess with a shawl or something. I don't know if I call it headpiece.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Yeah, and it is very modest. But I'm noticing like various colors, pinks and greens and blues and all type of things. But what you have on, does that depend on maybe a level that you are as an MGT woman, or a particular work that you're doing as an MGT woman, or you can put on anything at any time? Sometimes I've seen the sisters with the more like the army style jackets and the hats.
Mm-hmm. Those are the Vanguard.
Okay. Now,
Yes,
what is the
MGT
Vanguard?
Oh gosh, the Vanguard are the sisters that are the foremost, and they're our front line.
Okay.
All Vanguard are MGT. And not necessarily all MGT are Vanguard, but those are usually your younger sisters, ages about 16 to 35 years of age. And so they go through intensive study and training for what they do. So, but there's not necessarily a separation as far as the colors are concerned. These are uniforms. What I have on is a uniform. What Sister Khashimah has on is a business suit or a business outfit. I have on an actual uniform. And so we have particular colors that we wear during particular times of the year. We always wear white on Sundays. So most of the time, most people know us by being in the white. But we have class colors and that sort of thing. But no, there's not a distinction between the particular colors or anything like that. And so what sewing our own garments also allows us to do is give us a freedom of expression as well. So, you know, just because we Muslims don't mean we dull.
Who said that?
And so a lot of our sisters are so creative and so talented, and they come up with these beautiful garments that are beautiful and accentuate the beauty of the sister while still being modest.
Okay. Well, I know that's one thing that has always attracted me to you all. When you do walk into a room, it does command respect. But you can see the beauty in you regardless of seeing everything else. So, all right, let me see, where else did I want to go as far as not being dull. So you ladies have careers.
A little bit.
You have lives. You go to school.
Yeah.
What are some things that we may not think a sister in the Nation Islam actually does? It's not, of course, it is doing the work, but also you go to work. If need be.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your careers? What is it that you do?
I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse. In fact, I celebrate my 30th year in nursing.
Really?
This year. Yeah. I started when
I'm
I was 2.
I'm not going to do the math on you.
I was 2 when I started.
All right.
But this is my 30th year in nursing, and gosh, I'm a mom. I've been married 30 years.
Right.
What else about me?
Now, do you work in your garb? Do you work in your...
No, actually...
is it even required that you have to do that?
No, not necessarily. But it's a beautiful thing if you can go to work and you can wear your garment to work. Like I said, I've been a nurse for about 30 years. Most of my career has been in the hospitals or something like that. So I wore scrubs. I wear what people wear to work.
Okay.
I wore scrubs to work. Most of the time I tell people, I say, I wear tennis shoes for a living. So, and that's pretty much what I did. But in addition to that, I'm a Delta.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I'm a member of the Little Rock Black Nurses Association. So all of those things kind of make me up, you know.
Okay.
There are other sisters, I'm sure, that belong to other sororities. In fact, I know it would surprise me when I came into the. I said, I don't know why I thought I was the only one. But but from every segment, you see it a lot with the brothers, not so much with the sisters. You see a lot of the brothers, and they'll tell whatever fraternity they belong to, whatever. Not so much the sisters. And I think I know the reason I do it. I do it because I don't want to make a difference for a sister that's coming in.
Right.
So most of the time, very seldom will you see me in a lot of paraphernalia. And that's not because I don't love my Delta. It's simply because I want to make sure that when you see me, all you see is Nation of Islam.
Sure.
And so we can discuss the rest of it later, but the most important thing is to get you in here and not be worried about all that other kind of stuff.
And those are two different organizations.
Different.
This is not even an organization. You know, that's
right.
an organization.
This is a way of life.
This is a way of life.
But
Exactly.
there are plenty, you know, for those out there that may be Sigma, Gamma, Rho, Alpha, Kappa, Alphas. We have them all.
I have not met any of my sorors of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Minister Ava Muhammad is a member of
Oh,
Alpha Kappa
you
Alpha
serious? I
Sorority
just got through
Incorporated.
listening to her.
Yeah. Minister Ava is a
Say no more. She is powerful.
Yeah, she is a
She's
member
a
of
lawyer.
Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Yes,
Yeah.
she survived cancer.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, darn, I had no idea. I had been listening to her all week. I was familiar with her.
Yeah, yes,
but as
ma'am.
I was doing my research,
Yeah.
she popped up.
Yeah.
And when she speaks, you will listen.
You will listen.
Oh, I cannot wait to give her the greeting.
Yes, ma'am.
I
But
cannot
that's
wait.
what I mean. The most
Okay.
important thing to us,
Okay.
you know, always, because a lot of times we forget about it. We don't think about it. We're interested in getting our people, and we don't care
Yeah.
where they come from or how they came or through what avenues or whatever. We just want you here.
And
the
that's
most
why
important
the
thing.
door-to-door has always been popular. And speaking of that, I know you all have moved to North Little Rock.
Yes.
So I'm very excited about that move. You are right around the corner.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is, my address here is 2104 Main. And your address is 2014. Okay. Pike. Okay, so very close, the number, very close. So you have moved to North Little Rock. Right around the corner. I was going somewhere with that question, but I can't think of it right now. I'm just.
Well, you know, our meetings. Let's
Okay.
talk about that. So
Okay,
let's get
do
that out of
that.
the way.
Thank you.
So we have meetings on, let's start with Sunday. Sunday at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Then we also have the meetings for the brothers, which is Monday nights. On Wednesday night, we have study group. On Friday night, we have study group as well, starting at 7:30 p.m. And then Saturday, we have the sisters class.
Okay, and what time is mosque, or what time can we come and worship with you on
10
Saturday?
at 10 a.m. on Sunday, and there's an orientation class for the sisters that starts at 8 a.m.
You know, I always come at 10:30. That's why I'm always there. You all start at 10 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am. We start at 10.
All right. Well, let me just say you are listening to Harambee Radio, live radio. We are broadcasting live. We're here at Harambee Market, 2104 North Main. I have in studio, so to speak, Sister Khashimah, new, and also Sister Rochelle from the Nation of Islam here in Little Rock, North Little Rock, I guess Central Arkansas area. We're just speaking on some just basic background and information about the sisters in the Nation of Islam. Are there any questions or anything that you may want to ask? We do have the comment boxes that you can comment. We'll probably be on for another 10, maybe 15 minutes. Also want to let you know the sponsor for this show is New Body Products. I am a distributor of New Body Products. I've been a distributor since 1993. I think that's over 25 years. We are home of CKLS, which is the colon, kidney, liver, spleen detox. We're the ones who also drink the olive oil, so we'll have to talk to you about that too. If you are interested or want more information about CKLS, I can be reached at a Harambee Market, 501-952-2125. These sisters here actually are very familiar with it. And I also think there's an elder in Pine Bluff who I met about 10 years ago who is familiar with the New Body CKLS as well. So just wanted to get that out of the way. Thank you all for listening. I see Brother Arthur Muhammad. I see, hey, Sarah, Adrian, Jordan. Hey, if you're still listening, Phyllis Jennings, Grover Garrison, and a few other people have been listening in from Little Rock, from Pine Bluff, from Dallas, Texas. So greetings to you all. So we were just, again, talking to our sisters in the nation, getting some background information, some things that I never knew that I wanted to ask. I'm very familiar with the work that they do. I'm very familiar with the presence, but there was just some questions as far as MGT. And then there's another acronym, the GCC.
Muslim Girls Training in General Civilization class.
Okay. Okay. So she talked a little bit about that. Learning how to sew, learning how to cook, or familiarizing yourself with knowing how to cook, just some basic things to make home actually the home. Can we talk about bean pie for a minute? Just a minute. Can we talk about bean pie? So Sister Khashimah has vended here many times, and I'm always bring the bean pies and bring the bean pie. You got some fish? Bring some fish. Okay, if you don't have no fish, bring the bean pies. And so, of course, she graced us with the bean pies. And I've had several people in the past few years had never tasted a bean pie. And I've eaten many, and I never even questioned, because bean and pie, you just kind of think, well, what is this made of? But when you taste it, it tastes to me like a sweet potato pie to a certain extent. But it is made with beans. And
yes,
why
ma'am.
is it made with beans?
Well, we were given the recipe by the founder of the Nation of Islam, Master Fard Muhammad. We were told that the navy bean was a blessed bean.
Okay.
And that bean, through many years of research, after so many years of eating the navy bean, because we were taught that it was healthy, it was good for us, we're finding out so many things about it that have been a blessing to us, and we didn't even know it. Mm-hmm. You know, the navy bean protects against radiation. And if you go back to the Savior's Day lecture that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan did in 2012, he goes in depth into, you know, the navy bean protecting against radiation. The navy bean, it has like 18 different vitamins and minerals in it. It has enough protein, you know, the protein levels, the fiber in it. I think it's about 80-90% fiber. Mm-hmm. You know, it not only that, one of the recent through the research of Dr. Wesley Muhammad, and I think I mentioned it last year when we did our talk. Dr. Wesley was researching how the effect of the hormones it has on our hormones, because it balances out our hormone levels. Mm-hmm. We know that a lot of people suffer, you know, estrogen imbalance and
I remember that.
Testosterone issues. It balances out and gets our testosterone as really a male or a female, and estrogen levels back to where they need to be. And so that navy bean is amazing. And so
it's an amazing pie. And you know, Khashimah was known. Oh, y'all, I would tell this, y'all, but this is, you know, I showed up to Khashimah's door. That was like 4 years ago, because I had met a man, honey, and I needed a pie.
All about that, Sister Melody. I have forgotten all about that.
And oh God, hold on,
oh, Sister Melody.
I had to walk away for a minute, and I said, "What can I do to get this man?" I said, "Now I'm gonna make a few dishes, but I'm not a dessert person, and I need him to get a good pie. And I got your address, and I went looking for you. I'd ordered that pie, I guess, and I went high and I went low, and I got that pie. And that brother was like, 'What is that?' I said, 'That's a bean pie.' 'What?' I said, 'Taste it.' And I think he's been hooked ever since. So I need to thank you, Sister Khashimah. It didn't work out with us, but it had nothing to do with the pie. Okay, it was all me. All right, so yeah, that was so funny. So, well, yeah, Sister Khashimah is very well known for her pies. So if she vends here again and you happen to come through the market, be sure you pick up one. I think it's also quiche that you also have, and some other desserts and the fish sandwiches, of course. So lastly, as we kind of wind it down, if you could share with us, I know you mentioned, Sister Rochelle, what's going on at the new building, the hours and the meeting times, but are there anything else going on in the community that we all need to know about, that we can help you all with, or just some things in general that you all do in the community that we should be looking out for, especially since you're in North Little Rock, around the corner?
So be looking out for some dates. We're going to have a kind of open house meet and greet, hopefully in the next few weeks or so. So I don't want to give out any dates or any information before I talk with the people that are in charge. So, but definitely look out for that. Trying to think, do we have anything else?
Yes, ma'am. Coming the month after next in May, we will have a health presentation, and I don't know if anyone is familiar with the kinesthesiology that Dr. Alim performs. It's a whole body assessment.
His name sounds familiar.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Alim out of Washington, D.C. And so he has been back and forth to Dallas, back and forth to Memphis, and one of the nurses there has trained under him and will be coming to Little Rock, God willing, in May. And that will allow us to access, what she is able to do, an assessment on us personally, which will give us an idea of what we're deficient in, the things that we need to do to get our health where it needs to be. So
you all are still working on that. You don't know if there's a charge or anything for that now.
It will be a charge to actually do the assessment, where she lets you know what you're deficient in and what type of vitamins or food. Yes, ma'am.
Electrolytes, that sort of thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And will that be here in North Little Rock, or will that be at another facility?
It will be here in North Little Rock.
Well, we'll make sure to keep up with you with that and share that information. Whatever you need to bring to Harambee Market for us to pass out, I am on board with that for sure. Anything else? Now, I know Savior's Day passed, but were you all involved in that locally, or did you actually go?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it in Chicago? Where was it?
Chicago.
Chicago.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So One Trust Arena was the place for the actual minister election. One Trust, the new arena. It's called One Trust Arena.
Okay.
Connected to the Marriott in Chicago.
Okay.
So I think that was the first time we'd ever been.
Yes,
well, yeah, because it's new, right?
So that's one of the bigger national events that you all have.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And you all attend mostly every year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We were also here, most of us were in Chicago, but we did also show the minister's live presentation at our building. So, yes, ma'am.
So you are now located in North Little Rock. What's the address again?
2014 Pike Avenue.
2014 Pike Avenue. That's not far from where I'm located at all. If you are in Little Rock, North Little Rock, Central Arkansas, start building with the NOI family. Nothing to be afraid of. And if you come home Muslim later on that night, ain't nothing wrong with that either. But it's not about that.
No, it's
not about that at all.
It's about us connecting with our family, us connecting with our people.
Yes.
And with that said, if I could just give just a little small shout out for the Little Rock Black Nurses Association, we'll actually have a meet and greet. And you don't have to be a nurse, but it helps if you are a nurse. And that's going to be Saturday from 3 to 7 at St. Vincent in Little Rock in the Terrence Room. And so it's just drop in and out.
Give that information again this Saturday?
This Saturday.
Okay.
3 p.m. to 7 p.m. St. Vincent Hospital in the Terrence Room. And it's a drop-in. It's just a meet and greet. So if there are any healthcare professionals that just want to come and just kind of network a little bit, we would love to have them.
All right. Well, we'd love to be there. You don't have to be a nurse, as she said. That event is going on this Saturday, which is going to be the last day in March. And we know Easter Sunday will be the 1st.
Yes,
is that right?
That is correct.
And you know what? We're still in March. This month has been kind of lengthy for me. But Sister Khashimah spoke last year for our Women's History Month here at Harambee Market. So this being the last show of Women's History Month, thank you for coming back.
Thank you
Because
so
when I
much
looked
for
at the
having
calendar,
us.
I was like, okay, because I did mention you coming to speak, but that didn't work out. I just decided not to do it. But you are here speaking in this forum, so I do appreciate you. Love you, love you, love you.
Love you
Anything
too,
else
Sister
you want to share before we leave? Any shout outs or anything else you want to put out there?
Thank you for this forum. Thank you for what you do in the community. Just thank you so very much. A lot of times we take these kinds of things for granted, and the work that you do, and the effort, and the skill, and the talent that it takes. And so I am just very thankful and grateful to Allah for you and all that you give to us.
Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And I as well would like to say thank you so much, Sister Melanie. One thing we witnessed recently with Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who has worked tirelessly in the Black community, others misalign, and misrepresent him. And so as Black people, we have to connect to our people, connect to our brother, connect to each other, regardless of what people out there says. Right. And that's why I appreciate you so much, Sister Melanie, because you connect us with one another, and you allow us to represent ourselves as we are, and not how others say we are. And so our unity is paramount for our community. Yes, and we can't rely on what someone else says, and gets in between our relationship, because our unity will solve our problem. Right. I was at Sister Natalie's event last week, and it was phenomenal. Natasha. Sister Natasha, I apologize, Sister Natasha. I know your name.
Oh, yeah.
But
I know, brother.
Miss Annie Abrams was magnificent. Brother Amin was magnificent. And so the unity, as long as we're unified and we're backing one another up, we are doing so much in our communities, different organizations, different people. And that's okay. We just have to unify with one another and back each other up. Right. And our problems are solved because there's someone in our community doing something that is solving one problem or another. Exactly. All we have to do is support one another.
I definitely agree with that, and I appreciate that. I guess it is the mission I'm on. It just kind of happened like that, but I do try to honor the Harambee, and I do try to honor like we really need to look at each other and see each other and stop looking from afar and thinking, well, I'm not with what she is with. Like, what are you talking about? We all catching hell.
That's right.
Together, but you're not with me, and I'm not with you. All right. Well, when they draw that line, you're gonna be with me, and I'm gonna be with you, and they're gonna be over there. That's right. So I don't know what the future brings, but if it's chaos, then I need to know your name. I need to know where I can find you. I don't need to be scrambling around now trying to get to know you. If you go back, Sister Rochelle can go back when Roots first came out. We were watching Roots on the TV. I don't know when
staying up late.
Khashimah caught it when it came back out, but we were watching it. And when they put those enslaved Africans on the ship, he said, "Let's talk to one another quick. Right. Share the language of your language. Like, we got to teach each other our language now, so we can communicate. So we don't have time to try to figure each other out. When I see you every day." Greetings, sister. Assalamu alaikum to you, sister. Welcome to Harambee Market Hotel. Hey, how you doing?
What's up?
Greetings. What's up, sis? What's up, Sarah? Come through. And so we've got to stop this crazy, weird division. If we can't come to the grassroots and to the grass and just sit around and chill, eat a bean pie, somebody fix up some chicken or whatever the case may be, then I don't know. I don't know where that's going to lead us. So that's other than me having a shop here, it's deeper than that, of course.
Yes, ma'am.
As you all can see.
But I think the one thing that you mentioned is the thing that I talk about all the time as a nurse, is that patients should go and see a doctor when you feel fine. When there's nothing wrong, you feel okay, and so you're able to talk and make a connection. If every time you go to the doctor you broke down, you in pain, you hurting, something is wrong, then there's a certain type of relationship that's made. So if the only time we connect is if there's something traumatic, something wrong, something going on, then there's a certain kind of relationship. So we need to see each other when we're at our best.
Yes,
so when I see you one day and I was like, wait a minute, that ain't the sister that I know. Something has happened.
Sure.
Something happened to my sister.
Right, right.
And so that's always really important, and that's why I appreciate so much of what you're able to do, because you bring us together when we're at our best.
Yes, give thanks. Right. Well, with that being said, I thank you ladies so very much.
I enjoyed this. So invite me again.
I would definitely invite you again. I peek out and do this show on Thursdays. 8 p.m. is usually the time. Again, thank you guys for listening. I see a few comments as well. You all that are on Facebook, Rochelle or Sister Khashimah, you can go back and listen to the show. Again, it's going to be also archived on YouTube. So like our YouTube page, please like Harambee Market page. Share this video, this audio broadcast, share it around. And if you'd like to sponsor a show, or if you'd like to be on the show, just get with me and we'll talk and we'll move on from there. So we are going to close out this edition, the last show of Women's History Month. I think it was perfect that we have the Sisters of the Nation of Islam representing MGT and GCC.
Very good.
I got it. I got it.
Excellent.
And so, ladies, look for me to come visit with you all soon. I have not been to the new building, but you know when I come, I'll give you a little while, a little time.
Putting some curtains.
Okay, no problem. No problem. I'll give you some time. Is there any help that you need from me or anyone, you know you can call on me. So thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you as well. And can we close in the greeting as well as we open? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right. Give thanks. Peace.